Hi everyone, Cvitan here. Today I'm going to show you a game I don't want to show you, really. This is round 2 from Pula. I faced Cvitan again. This is our third game. The last time we played was in Zadar last winter, and we played a very sharp position in which I ended up outplaying her, and we drew when I was like +8 because I didn't know how to convert. It was very complicated. For this game, I had the black pieces. The last game I was white, and often I play the semi-Slav, as you know. But after d4, d5, c4, if I have played c6, she would have exchanged and went for the exchange variation of the Slav, which is what she normally does. I wanted to avoid that because, again, I wanted a complicated position. I wanted a sharp position. I didn't want an equal game in which it's most likely to be a draw, and also I just dislike the exchange Slav. So I played e6. Now, I've never played the Queen's Gambit declined ever, but for my game against her, I prepared something special. I should mention Anna is a very good player, Croatian women's champion. She played knight c3, and in this position I didn't play the normal knight f6, I played c6. And here I was really hoping for the marshal, which starts with e4, d4, knight e4, bishop b4 check, bishop d2, queen d4, takes, bishop e2, and so on. This is, I think, one of the sharpest positions you can play. But she didn't go for that. She went for the exchange Queen's Gambit declined, which is okay, because in comparison to the exchange Slav, where this pawn is on e6, here the pawn structure is not symmetrical, and I've had these positions with both white and black. Excuse me 1 second, my dog wants to come inside. Just a second. Sorry about that. So I've had these positions with both white and black, and it's a Carlsbad structure in which in this game the white side usually goes for a minority attack, or goes for the e4 break, or goes for the quick queen c2, bishop d3, castles queenside, and starts an attack. But as I said, I have a lot of experience here. She played bishop f4, and I've been preparing for these positions too, because if she played the exchange QGD, I had to be prepared, so I was prepared. And I played bishop f5, which is the second most popular move. Usually people play bishop to d6, challenging the bishop straight away. But bishop f5 is simply to prevent queen to c2. I basically, I could have done that even after bishop d6, but this is a different move order, second most popular move. This prevents the easy development of this light squared bishop to d3, and as is the case in the exchange Caro-Kann, this opening, this structure is all about the diagonals for the bishops. So it's often very prudent to develop your bishops before you develop your knights. Because if you imagine a position like this, for example, queen c2, I don't know, let's say I play passively, and she does this. Now there are no good squares for my bishops. I could exchange this one on d6, which I could have done previously, but this bishop doesn't really have a good square. So bishop f5, e3, and now bishop to d6. And of course, the position that's been played a million times is this: bishop takes, queen takes, bishop d3, takes. And I was preparing for this specifically extensively. We could have reached this position via several different move orders, but basically after knight bd7, castles, the idea is that white has a better placed knight and could go for a minority attack. The best idea here is rook a b1, followed by a5, rook fc1, rook fe8, and maybe knight to d2. But black has a very solid pawn chain still, and the game should be perfectly equal but imbalanced. Instead, she played a move which surprised me, which I thought was a blunder. I actually couldn't believe she played it, and it is a big mistake. She played queen b3, and I had to double and triple check my thinking and my analysis. I wasn't prepared for this position, but queen b3 just looks dreadful. And it's not hard to calculate that she cannot take on b7 if I take on f4, but I thought since she's such a great player, maybe I'm missing something. So after queen b3, I just took on f4. After about 15 minutes, I was double checking all the options because there are some weird tactical sequences that could happen. But the basic variation is this. If bishop takes, I concluded that she has to take back, which she did in the end. If she tries to win my rook, there is no way to save my rook. Basically, I would have had to retreat my bishop, bishop d6, so queen takes rook. I can just play queen b6, and the queen is trapped. There is nothing she can do. And I have a simple plan. I have two simple plans. If she does nothing, if she leaves the queen here, well, I could simply play bishop c8, bishop b7 and take the queen. Or I can play knight f6, castles, and knight b to d7, and again, get the queen for the rook. So what I was looking at was knight b5, which seems weird. But after cb5, queen d5, this was in my mind the only way to save the queen, and I thought bishop d7 should be a winning advantage for me, and that's completely true. So this is just two pieces for a rook and the pawn, but I have a lead in development. Her king is still on e1 still. When I play knight f6 and castles, I should have a winning position. So she took on f4, and obviously this is a better position for me. I played queen b6, now that, well, I have to defend my pawn. She played knight f3. I don't really want to take on b3. This is a pattern similar to what happens in the London system. If I take here, then I really don't have time to prevent b4, b5, a very quick minority attack and breaking open my position completely, with an advantage for white actually. So I just played knight e7. I actually had a long think here, but the reason why I played knight e7 is, even though her pawn structure is bad, she has an isolated pawn and doubled f pawns. The one benefit of that is the e5 square. So I don't really want my knight on f6, because I cannot use the e4 square. She can chase me away. I want it on e7, because once she occupies e5, I can play f6 and chase the knight away. And also my knight defends the bishop. And in this position, after the game, she actually told me she was thinking about queen a3, because she thought she was worse and much worse. Which, I mean, she is worse. She's not that much worse. It should be between minus 0.8 and minus 1. If queen a3, this doesn't really threaten anything. I can just castle, and she cannot take my knight because I take on b2. Yeah, it's just... I mean, she's losing the knight. This is winning. So in this position, she took my queen. She played king d2. And here I made a mistake, which isn't that bad, but it's just imprecise. What I should have done is use the fact that the rook is undefended. She hasn't developed yet, so b5. And if she tries to play a normal move like bishop d3, I can take, play b4, gain some more space. I think the best move is a4, which I considered during analysis, not during the game. And then b4 and knight d1 and probably just knight d7, where I've gained a ton of space. But during the game, even though I know b5 and I know this exact pattern, I just wanted to develop. Because the rook is coming to e1, and I thought this is the best way to play. Okay, rook e1. And I played rook e8, which tactically is unsound. My rook is undefended. I should have gone for knight g6, which was my second candidate. And I don't see any other way to play but to play g3 here. And now simply bishop to g4. Challenging this knight, I think would have been a very good idea. With the idea of rook d8 eventually and playing for c5, and trying to break the center open. I thought this would have been great. If she ever plays a4, then I can play knight a6 and knight b4, which I think she should do eventually. But still, yeah, black should be better here. But rook e8, and it's not bad. Here she played knight h4. And at this point I lost the game. This is why I have to show you all my games. I honestly... I think it was never harder to show you a blunder than it is now. But okay, so my thinking was at this point, and I was actually expecting knight h4. Okay, yeah, my bishop is undefended. She can take on e7, so rook e7, and then knight takes bishop. So I cannot just play knight d7. And then I thought, okay, I have to play bishop d7. That should be the only move. And then I started thinking again, thinking, okay, well, what do I want to do in this position? I want to connect my rooks. My rook is undefended. Anyway, my thoughts were sort of blurred, and I actually spent a lot of time, and I actually played knight d7 in the end and wanted to throw up. I cannot explain this. It has to be a psychological thing. I think it's not even a tactical issue. It's not that it's not that I didn't see it, and even if I didn't see it, it still would have been a psychological issue, because this is a 1000 rated tactic. And as soon as I played knight d7, I thought, okay, yeah, okay, I want to run away and shout in a forest. I don't know. I almost resigned when I played knight d7. She took on e7 immediately, and yeah, it's just a losing position. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to explain this. I just blundered. I should have played bishop d7, and I'm better. I just got rid of my tactical liability. For some reason, I convinced myself that knight d7 should be played. I don't know how to explain this. It's just anything I say is an excuse, and the excuses are useless at this point. I'm just not good enough. The reason why is irrelevant. Not good enough yet. In any case, this is how the game ended, rook e7. I played a few more moves because I was too shocked to resign, and yeah, here I resigned. That's just it. I mean, she gives up a piece for 2 pawns and then exchange. Yeah, I mean, it was, I think, a very promising position, especially after queen b3. I mean, queen b3 is not as bad as knight d7, but it's very bad. And I don't understand why I can stop and calculate everything for 15 minutes here, make sure I don't make a mistake. And then when she plays knight h4, I do that. I mean, I don't think I've ever blundered this bad. I remember a few years ago, there was a position, let me try to, okay, so I think my rook was on e4, I was playing white. My king was on c4. She had a pawn on, or he had a pawn on d6. Had a king on c7. Played king c6, threatening d5 check, winning the rook. And I played something random, and the guy just played pawn d5 check, winning the rook. So that's probably the worst. This has to be the second worst. In any case, yeah, I'm glad this is over. I hope I don't have to show you a game this bad in a while. Still, had to be done. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more chess. Bye.